Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji. Have a happy Radhashtami. And this is Kamade Kedasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kaubandiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji. Wish you a very happy Radhashtami too. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Daksdas from Chicago. Happy Radhashtami to everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksh Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining. Wish you a very happy Radhashtami, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania, and happy Radhastami, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and doing your association. Wish you a very happy Radhashtami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi. Wish you all a very happy Radhashtami. Mataji, Prabhuji is already on the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Wish you a very happy Radhashtami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji. All glories Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Wish you a very happy Radhashtami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte, and wish you a happy Radhashtami, Mataji. Mataji, we can start recording.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Once again, each and everyone for the Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Deena Bandhu Prabhu ji to enlighten us on the topic Glories of Srimati Radharani. Before handovering the call to Prabhu ji, I would like to hand over the call to Raj Prabhu ji to give the brief introduction about our Prabhu ji today. Raj Prabhu ji, please take over the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna, all the devotees. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. There is a small introduction for Prabhuji. In the year 1949, His Grace Deena Bandhu Prabhu was born in United States near Los Angeles, California, in a Catholic family. Being born in a wealthy family, he never faced any material scarcity as a child. But he realized that despite all the facilities that he was getting while growing up in the modern society, his heart was never satisfied. He started searching for real happiness. It was the era when the youth of the nation, being overburdened with frustration from the world, tried to bring a revolution through the counterculture. This was the era of the long-haired hippies, where the youth got addicted to various intoxication. He joined the counterculture, but he knew he was not happy. 1969, with a friend, he met the Hare Krishna devotees who were in the Boulder, Colorado, to start a temple. He received the ancient Vedic literature Bhagavad Gita as it is. Just from the introduction, he found answers to all the questions which were there in his heart, and he became the first devotee to join the temple. And that day was none other than Janamashtami. In January 1970, Srila Prabhupada initiated him in Los Angeles and gave him the charming name of Deena Bandhu Das, servant of the Lord, who is the friend of the humble. Soon he was sent to Dallas, where he opened the first temple. After some time, he served with his now wife, Akuti Devi Dasi, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, in various temples, including Houston, San Antonio, Los Angeles, and Santa Barbara. In September of 1972, he was appointed the temple president in Portland, Oregon. Then he preached for more than 5 years. In 1978, he went to Miami, Florida, and preached there. In 1980, he went to Colombia, South America, and preached there in Spanish language for several years, traveling around Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, encouraging the preaching and opening of centers. Finally, in April of 1984, he got the opportunity to serve in Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, India. He traveled and preached extensively with a preaching party in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan for 2 years. Then in April of 1986, he was appointed temple president of Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir, serving for 3 years and 3 months. During this time, having been first inspired by Guru Das Prabhu and afterwards the late Padmalochan Prabhu and Dhruv Maharaj Prabhu, he began taking devotees on parikrama of the holy places of Raja. Around the year 1988, a saint named Baba Madhav Das approached him to take over the restoration period of a very sacred place in Raja called Vrinda Kund near Nandagaon. This holy place where Vrinda Devi, the goddess of Vrindavan, resides, was given over to ISKCON by Baba Madhav Das, who had begun the work. By Deena Bandhu Prabhu, pure endeavor and devotee's mercy, now a carved stone temple, beautiful ponds, and enchanting flower gardens are there, which give one the impression of what Vrindavan should be like. More than 3 decades have passed, and he has become a permanent Vrajavasi, resident of Vrindavan, and he still continues to take pilgrims on parikrama. He inspires in all love of Raja, showing different holy places around Vrindavan and narrating enchanting stories of Sri Sri Radha-krishna related to those places. Among various other significant projects in Vrindavan, Deena Bandhu Prabhu has helped in restoring the Samadhi Mandir of great saint Srila Sanatan Goswami. He has also been an active supporter to restore and the sacred river Yamuna in Vrindavan. Whoever he comes across, he humbly invites them to Vrindavan and have darshan of all the holy places. Jai. Welcome, Prabhu. Mataji, I'll hand over the call to you.
Hare Krishna, Deena Bandhu Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your very valuable time and association to us and enlightening on this special topic, Glories of Srimati Radharani. On this special day, I would like to hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
From Sri Vrindavan, Hare Krishna to all of you. So, am I to understand that today is Radhastami in America?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, because ours is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get to celebrate too.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm very, very honored and pleased to be again with this Japa Sang again. We were here once before, and with all the devotees here. It's very wonderful. It's a great pleasure for me. And today we're going to take you to a very special place in Vrindavan, Raval, where Srimati Radhika actually appeared. And for you guys, it is the actual day that Srimati Radharani appeared. So thank you very much. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparam Digam Adadanas Chilandan Dhairidam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padambujo Tulisyam Janma Janmani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchakalpatrubhishta Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. For Srimati Radharani's glorification, we have a very beautiful verse by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. This verse we find in Mukta Charitra, the Pearl Story. And Raghunath, he must have seen into the future that Srila Prabhupada is going to open a very beautiful temple in Ramanreti of Vrindavan. And he'll establish deities of Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram, and Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. And there, Radharani is so beautiful. And this verse perfectly describes our Srimati Radharani. Gaurim Rakta Vararamyam Sunetra Susmitananam Shamam Savistam Sadikam Radhikam Ashrayet Sada. Gaurim, she's very beautiful, golden complexion. Rakta Varam, she's dressed in red garments. Gaurim Rakta Vararamyam Sunetra. We know netra means eye. But our Radharani in Vrindavan, her eyes are very special. Sunetra. Susmitananam. Smita is a smile just before the teeth are going to be visible. Our Radharani smile is so sweet. It's not smita, but susmita. Susmitananam. Shamam. She's very, very simple. Our Radharani is very, very simple. Swabhistam sadikam. Abhista we know means desire. So swabhista, her own desire. She's very expert. She's very simple, but she's very expert at getting her own sadikam. Just like we're doing sadhana to achieve some sadhya, to get some goal. So swabhistam sadikam. She's very expert in fulfilling her own cherished desire. Radhikam ashrayet sada. I eternally take shelter of that Srimati Radhika. So, as you heard, I happen to join right on Janmashtami Day. So that's also my birthday. And most of us think that Janmashtami is the real festival. But there's a very wonderful verse here in Srimad Bhagavatam, in canto 10, chapter 5, verse number 18. We'll see Prabhupada has an amazing purport to this verse. So let me read this verse. Tata Arabhya Nandasya Vraja Sarva Samriddhiman Harer Nivasatma Gunai Rama Kridam Abum Ripo. O Maharaj Parikshit, the home of Nanda Maharaj is eternally the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his transcendental qualities, and is therefore always naturally endowed with the opulence of all wealth. Yet, beginning from Lord Krishna's appearance there, it became the place for the pastimes of the goddess of fortune. Now listen carefully to this purport. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The abode of Krishna is always served by hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune. Wherever Krishna goes, the goddess of fortune naturally resides with him. The chief of the goddesses of fortune is Srimati Radharani. Now listen. Therefore, Krishna's appearance in the land of Braj indicated that the chief goddess of fortune, Radharani, would also appear there very soon. Nanda Maharaj's abode was already very opulent, and since Krishna appeared, it would be opulent in all respects. Now listen to very carefully. Therefore, Krishna's appearance in the land of Braj indicated that the chief goddess of fortune, Radharani, would also appear there very soon. In other words, Janmashtami is not the big real festival. It's just indication Janmashtami is a sign that now Radharani is going to appear. Now Radhastami is coming. Radhastami is the big festival. If you read this purport, it's very amazing. So Radharani, she's not an ordinary girl. She's very, very Chaitanya Charitamrita in Adi Lila, Adi Lila, chapter 4, beginning with verse 68, Krishnadas Kaviraj explains to us about Radharani. First, he was explaining that Krishna's very being is called Swarup Shakti. Swarup Shakti has 3 divisions. One is Sandhini, by which everything exists. Other is Sambit Shakti. Sambit, just like we know Vidya, comes from this word, this root vit. Sambit Shakti, by which knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known. Sambit Shakti. And Ladini Shakti. Radharani is none other than that Ladini Shakti. Here it describes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, beginning with 68, the essence of the Ladini potency of Godhead, the essence of love of God, is emotion, bhava. And the ultimate devotion of that emotion is mahabhav. Mahabhava Swarupa Sri Radha Thakurani Sarva Gunakani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. Sri Radha Thakurani is the embodiment of Mahabhav. She is a repository of all good qualities and the crest jewel amongst all the lovely consorts of Lord Krishna. Tayorapi ubayor madhye radhika sarvatadika mahabhava surupeyam gunar ativarisyasi. Of these 2 gopis, Radharani and Chandravali, Srimati Radharani is superior in all respects. She is the embodiment of Mahabhav, and she surpasses all in good qualities. Her mind, senses, and body are steeped in love for Krishna. She is Krishna's own energy, and she helps him in his pastimes. Then it goes on for several verses describing how all the consorts of Lord Krishna, actually the queens of Dwarka and the Lakshmis in Vaikuntha, and the queens of Dwarka and the gopis of Braj, they're all expansions of Srimati Radharani. But the gopis of Braj are direct expansions. Just as the fountainhead, Lord Krishna, is the cause of incarnations, all incarnations, so Sri Radha is the cause of all these consorts. This is just so Krishna can enjoy variety in the expanding ras. So many different types of taste, so many different features are there. Radharani expands as all these gopis to give pleasure to Krishna. Then text 82, very beautiful verse. Govinda Nandini Radha, Radha Govinda Mohini, Govinda Sarvasva, Sarvakanta Shiromani. Can we hear that again? It's so beautiful. Govinda Nandini Radha, Govinda Mohini, Govinda Sarvasva, Sarvakanta Shiromani. Radha is the one who gives pleasure to Govinda. Govinda Nandini Radha. She is Govinda Mohini. She's the enchantress of Govinda. Govinda Sarasva. Sarvasva. Listen how Prabhupada translates. She is the be-all and end-all of Govinda. Sarvakanta Shiromani. And she is the crest jewel of all of his consorts. Now comes a very important verse, number 83. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanta Sanmohini Para. The transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Sri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses the all-attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. Now goes on to explain this verse. Devi means resplendent and most beautiful, or else it means the lovely abode of the worship and love sports of Lord Krishna. Krishna Mai means one who's within and without our Lord Krishna. She sees Lord Krishna wherever she casts her glance. Text 86. Or Krishna Mai means she is identical with Lord Krishna, for she embodies the mellows of love. The energy of Lord Krishna is identical with him. Text 87. Her worship, Aradhana, consists of fulfilling the desires of Lord Krishna. Therefore, the Puranas call her Radhika. And then comes a very important verse, because people say that the name of Radha doesn't come in Srimad Bhagavatam. But it's hidden because Sukadev Goswami would have gone into ecstasy by saying the name of Radha. And he only has 7 days for Maharaj Parikshit. So he can't say Radha openly, otherwise he'll just go into trance. Anya Radhito Nunam Bhagavan Harir Ishvara Yanno Vihaya Govinda Prito Yam Anayadraha. Aradhito Nunam. Truly the personality of Godhead has been worshipped by her. Therefore Govinda, being pleased, has brought her to a lonely spot, leaving us all behind. So Radharani's name, who worships the best, is hidden in this verse. Therefore Radha is Parama Devata, the supreme goddess, and she is worshipable for everyone. She is the protectress of all, and she is the mother of the entire universe. I have already explained the meaning of Sarva Lakshmi. She's the essence. She's the Lakshmis are expansions of Srimati Radharani. Radha is the original source of all the goddesses of fortune. Or Sarva Lakshmi indicates that she fully represents the 6 opulence of Krishna. Therefore, she is the supreme energy of Lord Krishna. The word Sarvakanti indicates that all beauty and luster rest in her body. All the Lakshmis derive their beauty from her. Kanti may also mean all the desires of Lord Krishna. All of the desires of Lord Krishna rest in Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radhika fulfills all desires of Lord Krishna. This is the meaning of Sarva Kanti. Krishna enchants the whole world, but Sri Radha enchants even him. Therefore, she is the supreme goddess of all. Sri Radha is the full power, and Lord Krishna is the full possessor of full power. Radha Purna Shakti, Krishna Purna Shaktiman. Tui Vastu Beda Nai Sastra Praman. Sri Radha is the full power, and Krishna is the possessor of full power. The two are not different, as evidenced by the revealed scriptures. They are indeed the same, but just as musk and its scent are inseparable, or fire and its heat are non-different. So this is the mystery of Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna are not two, they're one. Ek Atma or Do De, we say. One soul with two groups. This is all very, very difficult to understand. But only because Sriman Mahaprabhu, those two have again become one in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain to us this very deep philosophy. He gives the example of fire. We cannot separate fire from its heat. We cannot separate musk from the scent. So Krishna is the Purna Shakti, Radha is Purna Shakti. She's the full power. And Krishna is the Shaktiman. One is the powerful, one is the power. So there's no difference between the two. Radharani and Krishna are one. So we should not keep any mundane thought in our mind when we think of Srimati Radharani. Okay. Then where did it go? I had it. Okay, sorry. Radharani's 25 chief transcendental qualities are. Radharani has unlimited qualities. But Srimati Radharani's 25 chief transcendental qualities are, she is very sweet. 2, she is always freshly youthful. We worship youth, isn't it? As soon as we see the wrinkles coming, we get worried. As soon as one little gray hair, now it's all gray. We get worried. We worship youth. So Radharani, why should Krishna grow old? We see pictures of God with a big, long, white beard. But why should he have to grow old? So Radharani, she's not different from Krishna. She's always freshly youthful. 3, her eyes are restless. Sometimes one name of her is Kanjanaksh. Kanjan is this little tiny bird, almost like a hummingbird, but he doesn't flap his wings like that. But he's very blackish. Blackish, bluish, deep. Neel means very deep. When it's described that Radharani's eyes are blue, we think she looks like somebody from Sweden or Germany. Everywhere I go, I see Radharani with light-colored eyes, but her eyes are deep blue. Neel means deep blue, the color of Krishna, because she sees Krishna wherever you. So Kanjanaksh, this Kanjana bird, I see it. It flits from one flower to the next flower to the next flower. Always flitting like this. So Radharani's eyes always looking for Krishna. Is he there? Is he there? Is he there? So her eyes are always restless. She smiles brightly. We just discussed Susmitananam. She has beautiful, auspicious lines. In her hands and feet, auspicious signs are there. 6, she makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma. 7, she is very expert in singing. 8, her speech is very charming. 9, she is very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly. She is very humble and meek. 10, 11, she is full of mercy. She is full of mercy. Actually, Raghunath Das, again, we'll quote from him, very beautiful verse. He says, Karunaya vidravad deha. Deha we know means body. Deha knows minitai daha. Deha means body. So karuna, we know compassion or mercy. Vidravad. Vidravad means to melt. Ordinary people, their hearts melt with compassion. But Raghunath Das says, Vidravad deha. Radharani's whole body melts with compassion. 12, she is very cunning. Svabhistam sadhikam. She is expert in executing her duties. 14, she is shy. This is very important for women. This is a control valve, Prabhupada says. 15, she is always respectful. 16, she is always calm. 17, she is always grave. 18, she is expert in enjoying life. 19, she is situated at the topmost level of ecstatic love. We just discussed Mahabhav Sri Radha Takarani. She is a reservoir of loving affairs in Gokul. 21, she is the most famous of submissive devotees. 22, she is very affectionate, elderly people. 23, she is very submissive to the love of her friends. 24, she is the chief gopi. We just read Tayor Madhye. Among these two, Radharani is the principal. 25, she always keeps Krishna under her control. Krishna is the controller. Ishvara Parama Krishna. But she keeps that Krishna who controls everything under her.
Prabhuji, we can't hear you.
His video froze, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, we're back. Something happened with the net, I guess. Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay, so we're going to sing a very beautiful song about Srimati Radharani. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mohite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mohite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Samudarati Vardhana Veche Harini Skuta Vrinda Vipineshe Samudarati Vardhana Veche Harina Skuta Vrinda Vipineshe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Gokula Taruni Mandala Mohite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mohite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Vrishabhanu Dadi Navashashi Leke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Vrishabhanu Dadi Navashashi Leke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Gokula Taruni Mandala Mohite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mohite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Karunam Karumai Karunabharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Karunam Karumai Karunabharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Gokula Tarani Mandala Mohite Gokula Tarani Mandala Mohite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe Jai Jai Sri Radhe Sham. Sometimes our devotees, they ask, why do you do like that? Jai Jai Sri Radhe Sham. But there's actually Shastra Praman. Just like sometimes on Braj Prikrama, we go some places, what to speak of running water, there's not even a hand pump. What is there? There's well. And our Western devotees, they don't know the the village technology. What's so difficult? You take a bucket, you tie a rope around the handle, and you throw it in the well, and that's what they do. And the rope goes zit, 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 to the head. Ah! Now bucket, rope, everything is gone in the well. Now what to do? We have to give 200 rupees to the ashram to buy a new bucket and rope. No, every ashram has a special rope with so many hooks on it. We send that rope down and we hook that bucket and we pull it out. So to get something from a deep, dark place, we need a hook. So this Akshar Radha is just like a hook, especially R in English, just like a hook. And according to Sangeet Shastra, this sound Ra goes down. You feel it now? Goes down. So this body is a deep, dark well. But not filled with water, it's full of pop, sid. So we need this Ra to send that down to hook all of that pop. So we go down Rad, hey, next verse is aspirated. Hey, coming up. You hear the, according to Sangeet Shastra, this sound goes up. The sound goes up. So we pull all that pop out. Out, Radhe. Then Sham. When you say this Ma Akshar, then this becomes close. So we want to pull it all out. Radhe Sham. Now don't let it come back. So this is a very beautiful song by Srila Rupa Goswami. And he says, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. All glories to Radharani. Dayate means beloved. She's the beloved of Krishna. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mohite. Mandala, even all the girls of Gokul, they're enchanted by Srimati Radharani's beauty. Even girls are enchanted by her. Now somebody may question Rupa Goswami, he's a big scholar. He knows so many languages, Sanskrit, Bengali, Hindi, Urdu. He's a big scholar. Why is he writing a song about a young girl? But as we discussed earlier, this is not ordinary girl. Sanaka, Sanatan, this just names two of the four Kumaras. They've been brahmacharis since the beginning of the universe, millions of years. Barnita, describing Charite, it's like Chaitanya Charitamrita. They're describing the character of Srimati Radharani, even brahmacharis for millions of years. So not ordinary girl, none other than that Ladini Shakti of Sri Krishna himself. So on the bank of the Jamuna, there's a very beautiful place called Rava. And Nanda Baba was living there in Gokul. So his friend, Vrishabhanu, was living nearby in Rava, on the other side of the Jamuna. So, to understand about Radharani's appearance, we're going to have to go back many thousands of years. There was a beautiful prince named Sucharu, and a very beautiful princess named Kalavati. And seeing their matching qualities, their parents arranged their wedding together. Big, fancy wedding. Doom dam, we say. Very wonderful wedding. They executed for Kalavati and Suchar. But most amazing thing was after their wedding, they both went to the forest and they were sleeping on dry grass, on leaves, and eating only berries that monkeys eat. They were performing great austerities. This was very astounding. Because after we get married, we think, oh, no more sleeping on a mat in the ashram. Now I get a nice soft bed. No more temple prasad. Now we get puris, paneer, sabji, and halava, sweet rice every day. But they were eating berries that only monkeys eat and sleeping on dry grass and dry leaves. And they performed these austerities for many thousands of years, demigod years. So finally, Lord Brahma descended one day in his swan airplane. And he inquired from the both of them, what is it that they desired? And they said, we want to get Lakshmi Ji, the consort of Lord Vishnu, as our daughter in order to render service to her. And Brahma was so shy, so shocked, rather. Wow. What is this? Ordinarily, when people do their austerities, then they have a big long list. I went this and this and this and this and this and this. And then I went this and this and this, 90 days credit for the next austerity. Give me a car and a job and a house by the sea, Swami Jai Jagadisha Hari. But they were asking for service. Brahma was so satisfied. He said, not just Lakshmi Ji, you will get the Maha Lakshmi, Srimati Radhika, the consort of Brajendrananda and Sham Sundar. She will become your daughter. So next incarnation, they came back as Vrishabhanu and Kirtida. And again, their parents, seeing their matching qualities, arranged their wedding. And they were very happily wedded, but they were always desiring to have a daughter. Somehow they got one son. Sridham is the older brother of Srimati Radharani. But they were always desiring this daughter. Many years went by. One day, it was the dark half of the month of Bhadra. It was the bright half, light half of the month of Bhadra. Second month of the rainy season. It was the Astami day. And just like all of us every morning, before we go to Mangalarti, we take our bath, isn't it? Because you guys don't go to Mangalarti, I bet. Anyway, he took his bath in the Jamuna. So he went down toward the Jamuna. He saw something was shining there. As he got close, he saw there was 1,000-petaled, glorious, splendorous lotus flower there in the waters of Jamuna. As he got even closer, he saw there was a beautiful golden baby girl in that lotus flower. As I said, this is second month of rainy season. Jamuna's current was too heavy. He couldn't reach to that lotus flower. Then Brahma descended again. And he reminded Vrishabhanu of his previous incarnation. And he reminded him of his promise. And he plucked that little girl from the lotus flower and handed her to Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu was overjoyed. He ran to the palace. Oh, Devi, we got our daughter. We got our daughter. Kirtida Maharani came running. She saw this beautiful, soft, golden baby girl in Vrishabhanu's arms. He just took her from his arms and held her close to her breast. Oh, how soft, how sweet. And so beautiful. They looked at her. She had very auspicious lines on her hands and very amazing marks on her feet, and so beautiful arms and legs and tiny little fingers. She was so exquisitely beautiful in every way. But her eyes were sealed shut. She was totally blind. Now, to understand this blindness, we're going to have to go all the way up to the Golok Dham. One day in Golok, if we can talk about days in eternal time. Krishna Chandra, he told Srimati Radhika, now the Dwapar Yuga is coming to an end on the earth. It is time for us to go and display our pastimes on the earth. And Radharani said, I don't want to go to that deep, dark, nasty material world where no one is chanting your name, no one is doing your service, everyone is engaged in sense gratification and sinful life. I don't want to go there. There's no Vrindavan, there's no Jamuna, there's no Giriraj. And Krishna Chandra said, hey Radhe, just see. Vrindavan has already gone to the earth. Jamuna has already gone to the earth. And Giriraj has already gone to the earth. Don't think that this Brajadam is an ordinary place. This is non-different from the Golok Dham. This Gokul Dham and Golok Dham, they're non-different. Don't think that you took a flight and you came to Delhi and you took a taxi and you went to booked your room in Krishna Balaram Guest House or MBT and then you went to Barsana. No, we're only here by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. It's not different from the spiritual world. So Radharani looked and she saw glowing on the face of the earth this beautiful Brajadam. And cutting through, just like a beautiful blue ribbon, was this Jamuna River. And standing very tall and proud was this Giriraj. And Radharani said, all right, I will go, but I don't want to see anyone or anything until I can see your Mukha Chandra, moon-like face. So therefore, she appeared completely blind. But both the mother and father thought she's so exquisitely beautiful. Doesn't matter. Better, blind daughter better than no daughter. Meanwhile, Narad Muni was nearby with his latest smartphone, loaded up with his astrology program. And he calculated that this is the time and this is the place for that Ladini Shakti of Lord Krishna to appear. Somewhere she has appeared. So he began to wander hither and thither. He came to the palace of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. He knocked on the door. The doorman came, he saw Narad Muni. He ran to the king, he said, Narad Muni is here. Vrishabhanu, the king, personally came to the door to receive him. Padarye, please come. Viraje, please sit. He sat him down on his own throne. He washed his feet with water. He sprinkled it on his head and everybody's head. Then he sat at the foot of his own throne. He said, any Seva Maharaj? You have any service for me? Narad Muni said, yes. Do you have any issue? Do you have any child? And Vrishabhanu said, yes, I have one son. One son? Yes, Maharaj, one son. One son? One son? One son, Maharaj. All right, you bring him. So they brought Sridham to Narad Muni. He gave all his blessings on Sridham. He told, this is a very special, close, confidential associate of Sri Krishna. You have to take very special care of him. Then Narad Muni got up to leave. But there was some unhappiness on his face. Prabhupada said, Face is the index of the mind. So Brisabhanu said, Tero Maharaj, Tero, wait, Maharaj. Yeah, tune jhoot bola, you told a lie. Arey Maharaj, I have one daughter, but she's blind. I was feeling ashamed to show her to you. You have one daughter? Huh? He immediately ran, he sat back down on the throne. Oh, bring that one. They brought Srimati Radhika. Now Narad Muni, he knows who this is. He was just swimming in the ocean of transcendental bliss. In fact, he went into trance for a very long time. Then he said, I know how to cure this blindness. Now you're going to see how clever this Narad Muni is. You have to make a feast, and you have to make this and this and this and this. All complicated preparations that you won't find the ingredients around the house. You'll have to go to the bazaar. You'll have to go to the fields. You'll have to go to the market. So everyone looked at this list. And then he said, you call Nanda and Yasoda and you feed them prasadam. This blindness will be cured. Everyone looked at this list. They said, oh my goodness. They had to run to the market. They had to go to the fields. They had to go to the bazaar. Everyone ran hither and thither and thither and hither. So now Narad Muni is a little clever fellow, huh? He began to offer very beautiful prayers to Srimati Radhika. And she smiled and said, what is your desire? He said, I want to see your Kishori Roop. That form as a little 13, 14-year-old girl. Then Radharani manifested before his very eyes, the beautiful Kishori Roop. Astasakis and their Kishori Roops also appeared. Now Narad Muni was diving and drowning in the ocean of transcendental bliss. Then he paid his obeisances and he went on his way. Radhika Raman, Radhika Raman, Radhika Raman, Radhika Raman. Meanwhile, the cooking started and they called Nanda and Yasoda from Gokul. And Nanda and Yasoda came. And Krishna was just a little boy under Mother Yasoda's arm, because he was born on the dark half of the month of Bhadra, the Astami day, Krishna Astami day, but 1 year before. So he was a little boy. And so they took darshan of Srimati Radhika. And they saw so beautiful golden color, so soft and so sweet, so exquisite lines in her hands, auspicious marks on her teeth. So incredible. They said, anyway, it doesn't matter that she's blind. She's so beautiful. Then Nanda Baba and Vrisabhanu, they sat down to do their talkings. And Yasoda and Kirtida, they sat down to do their gossipings. Meanwhile, Mother Yasoda set Krishna down. So he was a little boy, he was crawling. So he began crawling here and there and here and there. He saw this beautiful basket with this black blanket, Kali Kamri, coming on each side. What's in that basket? He crawled over to that basket. He grabbed the sides of that basket. He pulled himself and looked inside. Now you've seen how Mother Yasoda has painted all kinds of sandalwood and camphor and kesher, what is it, saffron, paintings on Krishna's face. That divine fragrance began to enter into the sesame flower-like nose of Srimati Radharani. Our Goswamis, many times in their literature, They describe Srimati Radharani's nose just like a sesame flower. One time on Braj Prikama, we went through the sesame field and I picked one flower and I looked at it. Didn't it all look like a nose? Very light color like Radharani, but it didn't look like a nose. But the next year I saw the flower just hanging on the plant. When you view from the side, you see one petal comes down and boop, turns up a little bit at the end like a nose. And two petals come down, boop, just like a nose. So that divine fragrance entered into the sesame flowered nose of Srimati Radharani. Now she knows that Krishna is just in front of her. Now you try to understand. Our Prabodhanand Saraswati has written that from a kataksh means a little sidelong glance. Radharani can't look directly at Krishna. It's like Kalidas, he's written one beautiful poem. Radharani's lamenting. Everyone in Gokul is seeing Nandanandan with their two eyes. Everyone's seeing him walking on the path of Gokul with their two eyes. But I myself, I have to keep one eye on my superiors. Half of the other eye I have to keep on my Nindi Karniwala, those people who criticize me. So with one half, bing, I get to take a little glance at Krishna. One quarter of aparad, but I'm getting 5 times danda, 5 times punishment. This Cupid is shooting his arrows, form, smell, taste, sound, touch. He's shooting 5 arrows at my heart. So back to Prabodhananda Saraswati. He says, just from a little kataksh, this little sidelong glance of Srimati Radharani, Krishna, his mukut slips from his head. His flute slips from his hands. His chadar slips off of his shoulders. And he doesn't even notice. That's just from a kataksh. Now you try to understand. Radha and Krishna are face to face. Amne samne, amne samne. And Radharani opened her beautiful lotus petal eyes and looked with so much love into the eyes of Nandananda. So much love was going between those eyes. So much love was going between those eyes. So much love was going between those eyes. You can almost put your finger in and taste it. And they both began to laugh. And hearing the children laugh, the parents were distracted. And they saw that Radharani's eyes were wide open, staring with so much love into the eyes of Sri Nandananda. They thought, how wonderful this Nardmuni, he cured this blindness. So this happened at around noontime. They came for lunch. So for Radhastami, when do we have to fast? Just till the noontime. Radharani is very soft. This Krishna Chandra, he's very hard fellow, all the way to the midnight. But Radharani, she's very soft and sweet. Only half day we have to fast for her. So this is the beautiful pastime of Srimati Radharani's appearance. And this beautiful temple is there in Rava. It was all broken down, but somebody, this Dhanuka, who has his ashram right next door to ours, he put marble all over the dome. He put marble all over the floor, all over the walls. He put walls for so nice walls. Fixed it up so nicely. They fixed brand new altar a few years ago. Brand new altar was there. Everything, Singhasan, very beautiful. Everything's so nice. and very small deities. Ladli, Lal. Ladli means, of course, girl, and Lal means little boy. Beautiful deities of Ladli, Lal are standing there. And just several years ago, somebody built another altar on the right side. And just like I see somebody's profile picture here, is crawling Radharani. Can you imagine? It's the only deity of crawling Radharani in the world. Very beautiful deity. And it's just beside the Jamuna. Well, not used to be just beside it. I mean, now you can see the Jamuna a little ways away. It used to be just beside the Jamuna. There was a little lake there, but the government has made a big tank. Oh yes, there she is. This is to commemorate. This little lake commemorates where Radharani appeared. So maybe if there's some questions, I think we've been for an hour now. If there's any questions, I could try to answer them.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavatam. Such a beautiful, beautiful class, Prabhuji. When you are explaining the pastimes of Radharani, it was like the story was happening in front of us. It was like that when like Radharani opened the eyes and Krishna and everything was very beautiful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And that 25 points of Radharani's, that was also very nice. Thank you so much for sharing those all, Prabhuji. So do you have some time for the questions, Prabhuji?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I request the devotees, if anybody have any questions or realizations to Prabhuji, you can please go ahead. Prabhuji, we had one question in the chat. Shall I go with that, Prabhuji, first?
All right. Okay.
Who was Vrishabhanu in the previous birth? By Vijay Lakshmi.
Well, Vrishabhanu and Kirtida, they're the eternal father and mother of Krishna. Kalavati and Sucharu,
Yeah, you already explained.
they simply merge. This is some transcendental technology that we won't learn till we leave this world. Somehow they merged in with the form of Sucharu and with Vrishabhanu and Kirtida.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
And in Gaur Leela, Vrishabhanu, I believe, what was it? Pundarik Vidyanidhi? I can't remember right now.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So we have Taruni Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the very beautiful class. I was thinking about this pastime where Radharani, every day in the morning, she goes and cooks for Krishna, right? And Krishna, he wants to see her, but then he can't see, so he starts feeding the parrot some pomegranate seeds. I just wanted to know, when Radharani goes to Nandagaon and she's cooking with all her sakis, right? So Krishna can't see, but Krishna is still in Nandagaon, in the palace, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just imagining how the scene would be like. Can we make them like, you know, can I imagine that Radharani is down cooking and Krishna is then in the palace in one of the windows like that? Can I sketch? I mean, I'm just thinking about painting. So I was just thinking how that scene can be done. So I just wanted to confirm from you, if Krishna is in one of the windows feeding the parrot and Radharani is down cooking, is that still bona fide? So.
I really don't know. I wouldn't know how to do this painting, actually.
But he's still in the palace, Nandagaon, right? Okay. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. That's what I wanted to confirm. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Now I request Harita Mataji, Harita Madhvi Mataji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhu, my question was, you spoke about how Radharani came floating in the river with a beautiful big lotus. So is there a background story on why she came in such a form, like in the lotus in the river, Prabhu?
There's a story in Vidagda Madhav. How does it go? The Himalayas had a daughter, and somehow their Putana kidnapped. The Himalayas had two daughters, and somehow she kidnapped them. But she was attacked by someone, I can't remember, and she dropped them. So one was Chandravali, and one was Srimati Radharani. There's some background, at least that story that's a drama by Rupa Goswami. I don't know. Dramas don't necessarily reflect, well, they reflect reality, but whether it's actual pastime or not,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
All right, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, do anybody have any other questions or realizations to Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanva Pranam. Very nice class, beautiful class actually. My only question was why we celebrate Radharani, fast until noon, but you explained it very well. Thank you so much for your time. I pay my gratitude to you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
And if we go on top of the temple, beautiful dome is there covered with marble. And at the top, right from the beginning of the dome, one tree is there. No leaves, only thorns and twigs, little green twigs and thorns. Actually, that tree in Braj is called Karil. The Brajari told me that 550 years ago, his ancestors found the deities underneath that tree behind the temple. And when the contractor went to put marble, he cut the tree down. It was in the way from, worst thorns. But somehow that tree grew behind the marble of the wall and popped out right at the dome and growing very luxuriously there. And just this season before Kartik, it gets sprays and sprays of little orangish, reddish flowers. Then the flowers drop and a little round pea-like thing comes, we call tenti. If you ever eat at a Brishbasi's house and you get this achar that looks like great big peas, this is tenti achar. This is one of the Brishbasi's favorites. In fact, they told me that this is what Lord Brahma saw when he came back after stealing all the cowherd boys and calves. He saw Krishna standing there with a lump of yogurt. And Bhagavatam only says phalam, fruit. But the Brishbasi told me this is their favorite. They put some yogurt, chipped rice, and this tenti achar. So when Lord Brahma came, he saw Krishna was there with his bluish hand like a blue lotus flower. And between his fingers was dripping this mustard oil, this yellow mustard oil. This was the vision that Lord Brahma saw when he came.
Prabhuji, Mataji was asking, could you please let us know that achar name?
Tenti. I'm not sure how I would spell it, T-E-N-T-I, Tenti.
Okay.
Kabul ka mewa or Braj ka tenti. That's the Brishbasa saying.
So, dear devotees, do anybody have any other realizations or questions to Prabhuji? Or not, we can end the call here.
Okay.
Yeah.
May you all have a very joyous Radhastami, and may you receive the full blessings of Srimati Radharani.
Thank you so much,
And
Prabhuji, for your
distribute that
blessings
mercy
for
to
all of
everyone.
us.
Distribute that mercy.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful, wonderful class.
Let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha
Vikalpatarubhya
kalpatarubhyasya
Kripa
kripa
Sindhu
sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srimati Radharani ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Deena Bandhu Prabhuji ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada
Krishna
Jai.
Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy
Radhastami, Prabhuji.
Happy
Wish you all happy Radhastami.
Radha-krishna.
Thank you very much.
Radhastami.
Dhanavad Pranam.
Day.
Happy Radha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Happy Radhastami, dear devotees.
Radhastami. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Happy Radhastami.
Radha Ashtami, Prabhuji.